there's no intro for this video. I'm just going to get straight to it because basically what I've got here is some of my plants which I'm going to be repotting. I'm going to be doing maintenance checks on these. I'm going to be checking the root condition. I'm going to be checking for any pests. I know there have been some flies that have taken home to some of these plants. That is why I've bought a big bag of perlite, and that will form two things of my construction. The first thing that will do is it will create a base layer on top of the plants, the soil, to protect the soil. It will keep water retention, and it will also keep off insects from laying any eggs. Second thing it will do when mixed in with the soil, which I'm going to use this one here for, this pot here, to churn up some mixtures. Don't know why I said it like that. And I'm then going to distribute the mixtures accordingly. So right here, we've got Monstera obliqua. I think obliqua is how you say it. I don't really know. If you Google something like obliqua or obliquera or something like that, it will come up, but that's what it is. It's a cutting that I got from work. This one here, right here, has not grown too well, right? This is the cutting I took, and it's got new growth here, actually. It is growing here, but it's very, very small. This one, however, absolutely fantastic. This leaf here was the original cutting I took from the mother plant, and since potting it in here, from here upwards, all of this is brand new. You can see just the elegance of that. So we've got that needs to be aerated. The soil needs to be aerated because these plants like better drainage, so the water needs to run a bit more freely throughout, and the soil needs a bit more oxygen for the roots. We are also going to be looking at this Devil's Ivy, Golden Pothos. We're going to be looking at this English Ivy right here. We're going to be looking at these Fitonias, which are Peruvian, and we're going to be looking at this little Fitonia down here. And down there, we've got the Alocasia amazonica, which is a plant from, where is it from? It's from South Asia. No. Yes. Yeah. So we're going to light up some incense because I don't really intend to edit this video. I think I might just keep it the length that I want, because essentially I'm making this video. Where's my lighter? On that note, let me cut that right there. Okay, so I couldn't find a lighter. So what I did think to do as soon as I just stood up is I only missed out on about 3 seconds of real time there, which I just made up for, really. Well, not made up for, it's the opposite. Made down for by talking, which took up more time than the time I spent with that deliberation. Anyway, I decided I was going to, I think I have ADHD, light this incense with this here candle, because I think it adds to the ambience of the traffic outside. Shaky. Oh, it needs more burn. So yeah, we're going to be adding perlite, which is a volcanic rock mixture. It's not a mixture, it's just volcanic rock. It's this one rock called perlite. It's quite water retentive, quite porous, which means it will hold water, but also if you don't saturate it, if you don't hydrate it, it will, where can I put this? I'll put it in the Fitonias. If you don't hydrate the rock before you put it in, it can act as a really good dry barrier, which is what we're going for. So first thing to do is take this candle off here, because that is a very, very dangerous idea. I'm going to put it right here. That's probably more dangerous. Anyway, okay. So this is kind of for show. I can't really operate with all of this up here. So I'm going to put this down here. Here we go. You can have that there. Let's do, first of all, let's see how these cuttings are doing, because I'm really curious to see how they're doing. These are the cuttings of the golden pothos that I took from work, and what I'm gonna do. I have this here, which is a moisture and a pH detector. I'm gonna use it to kind of like get down there and get the roots all kind of jiggled up. We don't want to hurt them too much because the roots of these new cuttings are very young, so they'll only be a few inches long. I'm hoping they'll be at least a good few inches long. That's the hope, but they I put 3 of them in here together because I thought they might like company. So now we're just kind of teasing it up. This plant is the one that's had the flies mostly in it. So I can't see too many coming out right now though, so it seems to have cleared up a little bit. All these roots do seem pretty strong. I'm going to have them to get down there. It's time to get the knife out. So with plants, how it works, that ash just fell directly on my tabletop. Essentially, everything that comes from a plant, you can divide it down to 2 things. There's carbon, which is what you're feeling with the plant. It's what gives it solidness. It's what it derived from. So that's the same with humans. We're mainly we're carbon based. And the other thing is the nutrients. So the carbon comes from the air, from the carbon dioxide they take in, and the nutrients. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's a good. That's all. Could be better, but that's all right. That's all right. Good roots. Do you want to get close up on that if you can? If it's in focus, that's in focus. That's in focus. Is that in focus? Is that in focus? One of them will be. This one. Oh, nice. That's really good. Can we see that? Can we see how long this root here is? That is fantastic. For such a little cutting, that is phenomenal. And for this one, it feels quite deeply rooted. Basically, these plants are from Central America and South America, which means they like a lot of water from the rainforests and all that stuff, but they also require very good drainage, as in the soil they're used to is very rocky and very volcanic and very... Oh, that's brilliant. Look at that. Do we see the... That is fantastic. So we've got these big roots here, you'll see, right? Off each node comes one big tap root. This here is one tap root. And you'll see the fibers, the hairs coming off of it, which are, I forget the name of it, but they're the actual bits that take up water and nutrients. This is the tap root, this is a tap root. These little ones are really good, really healthy roots. Now, the problem is we had one yellowing leaf here, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think it must be there's a water retention down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prune that little leaf off, because we've got enough leaves on this cutting. We've got 3 healthy ones and 1 unhealthy one. So we're going to just snip that off with a sharp, sharp cut with these secateurs. There you go, it didn't feel a thing. And now... going to discard that down there because we only keep healthy things on the table, and put my cutting down there. Okay. With plants and that, I don't really tend to wear gloves when I do this kind of stuff. I just wash my hands after because it's easier to do it with your fingers, in my opinion. So what we're going to do is we are going to empty some of this into here. This is where it gets a bit tricky because it's all about like organization and that, because we want this to be quite a perlite-y mix, and we're seeing down here the old roots of something. Throw that away. And also, yeah, I have wooden floors, so basically I can get dirt and compost on the floor and it will just sweep up fine, which is pretty good. Oh, that's a bit much. gosh. Anyway, this is quite mixed up down here. So I'm going to open up the perlite. How can we... This might pull open. No, probably not. Okay. I got this today from B&Q, and I didn't know it'd be this much of a hassle to open it. It's just a bag of rocks. There we go. This bag of rocks cost me £10, which I think is quite a lot of money for a bag of bloody rocks. I should get some sort of scooper, shouldn't I? This is some perlite. Oh shit. We have it here. You can see it's a very fine, white, kind of crumbly, powdery rock. And that is absolutely fantastic. So I will grab a handful of this. No, I won't. I need to empty this completely. I'm full of shit. That needs to come all the way out. I'll put it in this tray here. Okay, that's better. Now, the aim is to get a nice mixture. So I get a handful of compost and perlite, and I will just tap and mix. Or shake and mix. It seems to work a bit better, I don't know. No, that's working. The tapping is working, ladies and gentlemen. The tapping is working. We're getting a nice fine mix there. Yes. This is so fucking tense. It's gonna be a big cleanup mission. Oh my gosh. Let's get all that in there. All that perlite, baby. Get that perlite in there. Get it mixed up. Where's the knife? Where's my knife? This is my knife that I just blunt to shit. I just use it for menial tasks. I have sharper knives. This one is a hunting knife. Can we see that? That soil compared to that? The difference. Now there'll be little pockets of air in there. So now we need to pot something in there. Let's put... I think this big boy here deserves his very own big drainage pot like this. Yeah? So... he can go quite deep. So what we're going to do is put this back here and empty a bit of this away. Now, clear a little space in the middle just to make room for the plant. Here we have the golden pothos, the devil's ivy, beautiful plant. It likes to hang, or well, it doesn't like to hang. It likes to grow up stuff, but it does hang if it can't grow up stuff. Here we go, and now I'm just going to tap this back in the middle and fill that up. So at some point when I was recording just now, yesterday, my camera died. I don't know when. So you're joining me on the next day. And I basically have not touched a single thing. Everything is as I left it. I just put these pothos, devil's ivy in here, just because I didn't want it to dry out overnight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put one of these in this pot here. I'm going to change the soil in these Phytonias right here. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I've got a lighter, which I have not. It's the same one as before. There we go. And this will just help calm me. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is get these cuttings back out. See how they're doing overnight. They're simply fine. This one here is remarkably small. The root system is quite small considering how big the plant is. This one is tiny, but look how big the root system is. It's quite mad. So I'm going to put this one in here because I think it needs... Well, actually, firstly, I'm going to get my mix of soil and perlite sorted. So, a friend of mine was asking, because their peace lily was suffering, they were asking how and why and when and where and who and what do you repot the plant? And it kind of got me thinking. So basically, when it comes to plants, half of the plant is this bit above the soil. It's the leaves, the flowers, the stems, the vascular systems that go up and down here. But the other half is the root system, and the root system doesn't just take in water. It takes in nutrients, mainly stuff from the soil. So stuff like nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, zinc, all that kind of stuff it responds to. The roots do have filters on them, hair cell filters, that does filter out a lot of toxins, but sometimes they aren't perfect with toxin filters. So that's why you don't want to put stuff like soap in your plant pot, because but if you get something in there by accident, the plants are generally quite good at filtering out what they don't need in the soil, which is quite good. Plants take in air and oxygen through their roots. They take in a bit through the leaves, but a lot of it is done through the roots. Now, this means that you need soil that is not necessarily too compact, which is why I've done this and put this perlite in here, because it means the soil now has little gaps in it, and air can get in those little gaps and just give the roots room to breathe. So I've just got to discard I'm just going to chuck this on the floor. Get out, dickhead. Lovely. There we go, perfect. Lovely, lovely. And now, it's alright, I'll clean this up later. Now what I'm going to do in here is I am going to put a mixture of this substrate in here, the perlite and the soil, just to add aeration for these roots, because this is a tropical plant and it needs aeration in the roots. Okay, so for now, put you in here, dig a little hole. Gonna put your root right down the bottom so it can suck up all the excess moisture at the bottom, and then put the rest of the roots kind of near the top, just so it has a bit of coverage in terms of where it can get its water from, because you don't want it to be all in one spot and then the plant can't access a certain area of moisture. It's just quite sad when that happens, isn't it? Now I'm going to put a little base layer of perlite on top. And this, again, will just protect from... It will protect from anything laying any eggs. It will protect from harmful things getting in your soil. It will also protect from water loss. It will keep the water in the soil, which is good for you if you forget to water your plants. But I also have it because the white nature, the really bright white nature of the substance means that it reflects a lot of light. And we're coming into the winter months now, which means the days are going to be getting shorter. And we're not going to be having much daylight left. That is perfect. That leaf is looking a bit damaged, but the root systems are healthy, so we're just going to keep it and it should be okay. That's done. So, where did my other cutting go? Oh, here it is. For this cutting here, I think I'm going to put it in here with my Monsteras. Yeah. No. Ooh. Yeah, I think I will. Because they're very similar plants. They require very similar things. They're both from the same kind of part of the world, both from south of the equator. So I think they should like living together. That's my theory. Anyway, watch me kill them. So I'm going to put this... that's fine. I'm going to get this up here. Anyway, back to the thing I was talking about before, which is that when you grow plants, you have to be really mindful of the soil and the roots as well as the actual external part of the plant, because root health is something that gets overlooked an awful lot. And what that means is that when these roots get either they dry out from lack of watering, they get bound to the pot, as in they have no more room to move because they've grown through all of the substrate you're growing in, and they have nothing left. Or they can get or they can get overwatered, which just leads to roots sitting in a pool of water, and then they start to rot, and the plant just slowly dies. It goes yellow, it goes droopy, it falls apart. That, if you've ever had a house plant that's just died and you don't know why, that's probably why. It probably was overwatered. It probably didn't have drainage. The water couldn't escape. See how here the water can drain out here, and the water can drain out here as well. This as well has holes in the bottom, but it doesn't really need to drain. What I'm going to be doing with this is I am going to dig out these using my knife. Where is my knife? I'm going to dig out these plants, and I'm going to see how their roots are doing. Because these are cuttings that I got a few months ago. And this one here has this whole new leaf on. This one has just begun to grow a new leaf, which is absolutely great. But this one is absolutely thriving. So I just want to kind of get the knife there. I'm not cutting anything. I'm just getting the knife deep down. And then kind of pushing inwards and up. And then you see how it tugs the plant up like that. But it doesn't damage the roots. So I'm not actually touching the roots. Come on. There we go. I'll give it a tug, see how it responds. It needs a bit more help. There we go. That is... I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen. That is a decent start, but that's only got 4 roots. That is why it's not grown that much, and that is why it's very limpy. That'll be okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in its own smaller pot, okay? Because these tiny roots in this massive pot, it'll get outcompeted instantly. These bigger ones will take all the water, and this needs to be in its own little pot. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that just down here for the second. And I'm going to check on these roots here, see how this one's doing. And that also leaves a lovely space for the golden pothos to sit next to it. And maybe they could even grow up each other, because I've got this this stick here, this stake. Is it a stick or a stake? I guess it's too small to be a stake, isn't it? It is just a stick. Now, where are your roots, sir? I'm kind of like... Oh, I don't want to damage it too much, but I do need to change the actual substrate and put this perlite in there. So it does, unfortunately, all need to come up. But I'm being careful and I'm listening to it. I'm feeling it. Hear that slight tearing? That's what we don't want. But it's okay. I can work around it. We can just get deep and then be careful. nearly there. This has been growing in this pot for about about 3 months, and I've not taken it out since until right now. So let's get it. Oh wow. Whoa, hey, that's lovely. Oh my gosh, look at that, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. I'm going to shake some of that dirt off so you can see a bit better. Don't know how well you can see that, but we've got this massive root off here, we've got this one here, and we've got all these little hair roots. That is absolutely fantastic. This one is going to love it in this pot, it's going to thrive. So before I do anything else, I'm going to chuck a load of perlite in there and get this thing mixed up real good. Because we really do want there to be a hefty load of rock in here. And for that, I think also I'll need to get rid of some of the soil, because I want most of it, not most of it, but I want a lot higher ratio to be perlite than soil, because this compost is quite wet and those roots weren't too big, so there's going to be a lot of compost that stays moist, which is not what we want really. We want it to retain moisture, but we don't want it to stay moist forever. We just want it to be a good moisture level for the plant where it can drink it, but it's not drowning in it, you know? Kind of like humans, it's all the same really. You wouldn't drown your baby, would you? Apparently babies can like hold their breath for longer. I don't know if that's true, but I also heard that they can like upright themselves like as a natural instinct, or they don't. I don't know, it's one of them. So basically don't drown your babies, but like they might be okay, but I don't know. How about you just like look after your kids? I think that's the responsible thing to do, right? I think one day I'm going to be a father, and right now that terrifies me, but I know that I won't do it until I'm ready, and I'm nowhere near ready. I'm like not even beginning to consider the possibility of being ready, but I know that one day I will be. Just been thinking about that. So I don't really know how entertaining of a video this is going to be for you people. Oh, don't breathe that in, Craig. Don't breathe that in. But for me, this is pure bliss. I find that with anxiety and ADHD, there comes a lot of stimulation excess and a lot of stimulation deprivation. And it really helps when you can give yourself healthy, organic stimulation, kind of, you know, like this, compared to stuff like music or, TV, food, drugs, coffee, whatever, you know, all that stuff. And plants give me a kind of a blank mind when I work with them, in a very nice way. Like I feel like I'm able to fully connect when I care for these things, and I think of new ways I can give them healthier homes and make them happier. And I spend money and I spend time taking care of them, you know? Like I want these to feel as if they are back at home in the Brazilian rainforest, you know? I don't want them to feel like they're in some 20-year-old's flat in North London. And they won't. They should be quite happy. And there we have our finished product. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And I'll put that down here with the rest. What next? We've got this little guy, the little monstera. I know, I'll put him in here. In this pot here is a dead Fittonia plant. I took it out of its big pot, but I think it got root rot. That was a good little rhyme, wasn't it? That was beautiful. I'm going to put it in the dead pile. Dead pile. that's the dead pile. And again, I'm gonna put this soil in the dead pile. Dead pile, soil. Have some soil. There you go. Everyone's just got like this the dirt pile in their house, haven't they? Like you go in, oh bro, dirt. Oh shit, that's really nice. This fits really perfectly in here. Don't know if you can see that, but can you see that? Is that good? See how these roots fit perfectly in here? I can just do that and then grab. Well, not this shit. It's not this. I need the perlite. Not this soil. That can just go there. Just put that there. Just yep. I'm acting like I've got cleaners. Nope. Just go there. Perfect. Time for more perlite. Oh. And now we can make another little tiny mix. Just on here. This one's for a cutting, so it's going to be quite perlite heavy because cuttings, small baby cuttings from mother plants, they like a lot of drainage. So that will actually be good. It will like that. So now I'm going to hold my plant kind of where I want the roots to be, and the orientation I want it to be at, which is about that. And then I'm just going to pour it in around where I want it to be. And then move it about, get it all tampered. Don't want to compress it too much, we're just tampering it, okay? And then we can just fill in the little gaps, make sure it's flat. That's okay. And then finishing touch, the tiny top bit of pure perlite, so this pure little baby doesn't dry out, because its roots are not that big. So this video is yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's a bit of a boring one, isn't it? So if you are watching this, then you and I have both got similar problems, and we both probably need more help than we admit. But we find solace in doing these little things that have a greater meaning. I find solace in using the power of having a human body is a marvelous thing. You can do things with your... I've got a broken foot right now, so I'm in the state where I really do miss having functioning feet, but I'm also so grateful that I've got functioning hands, you know? And these plants don't have hands. They can't do this to themselves, but we can. So why would you not? Why would you not want to, in some way, help? And there we go, that baby is home sweet homed. I'm gonna do the same thing for these here Phottonias. I'm gonna take them out and I'm gonna put a slight bit of perlite in with them. Because they're not mad about perlite, but they do like it to some degree. Just gonna put that in there. But the main thing I'm doing this for, the main thing we're going for, is the opportunity to be able to check on the roots of this plant that I've recently repotted, and also to top it off with that perlite top. So I went to the woods the other day. I went to Richmond Park in West London, and honestly it was bloody lovely, and I saw the deer and I took videos of the deer. How are we doing? They're okay. That's fine. And basically I took videos of these deer, and whilst I was pottering about, just enjoying the place and trying to get this footage, there's this fallen tree that I found, and I sat on the tree, and there was lovely moss growing alongside the tree. And I'm sorry, I'm being greedy here. I've got too much soil in there, so I can't really pot this thing properly. So I need to do what I did before and just like hold it where I need it and then drop the soil in from above, because otherwise it ain't really going to work, is it? Anyway, I completely forgot what I was saying. I'm going to make these Phoetonias beautiful. They're going to grow so big. A lovely Spanish friend of mine who grew up in Ibiza went back to Ibiza, and she saw these Phoetonias in a shop outside. And she sent me a picture of them, and I didn't actually recognise them as Phoetonias at all, because they were the size of... they were the size of like lettuce. It was actually amazing how big they were. And I never knew Phoetonias can grow that big, because they're native to Peru. They're literally just the country of Peru, so they're not exactly... They don't thrive in a lot of different areas, so they're quite fussy. They're quite fussy with what they like. And these Phoetonias are just bigger than I'd ever seen before, and it's just like blew me away that they can actually get that big. So eventually, when I have a more permanent home, I'm going to try and get it sorted with the right heat for these plants and the right humidity. I'm going to try and get it so that these plants actually feel like they're at home, because that's the goal for a tropical house plant, isn't it? I have my fruits and vegetables in some pots, and I have... Oh, that's gorgeous. And I have... I also have fruits and vegetables outside where God takes care of them. I don't need to water them. I do sometimes, but not much, especially now. I did in the drought, but yeah. I think that's a good place to leave it for now. What do you lot think? Okay, I'll do one more. What we've got right here is the top part of a drawer, and it's got an asparagus fern right here, an asparagus plant here, an asparagus plant here, both edible. They're kind of growing in with each other, kind of mishy-moshy, kind of. None of it really got enough light, so it's a little bit damaged. This is a bit bleached, also a bit went through drought, went through underwatering. It's been through it, but the new growth is always bushy and it's still alive. So my tone of voice is a bit different on this one, because this is the pot which has which flies have really enjoyed laying their eggs in. And these are little things called fungus gnats, and they're funny name because they're related to mosquitoes more than they are flies, but they don't bite. They literally just eat decaying matter. That's why they're called fungus gnats. They're nothing to do with fungus. They just do the same thing fungus does. So basically, they're little flying things that don't bite, and they just eat decaying matter, which is chill. They're fucking annoying. Like they don't hurt the plant. They're not bad. They're not, they don't damage anything. But they just fly about a lot, so I don't really enjoy them. So I might not talk much for this one, but I'll put some nice music over it maybe, and you can enjoy the visuals of me doing it. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over here. I've got some ivy. I took this from the local forest. I've propagated it. I'm going to move this over here so I can be away from it in case a fly goes in my mouth. And it grew roots in my little pot of water, and then I planted it in here. It hasn't grown in about 5 months. It just hasn't grown, but it's still alive. And it's got the smallest roots imaginable. Oh my gosh. Okay. What on earth is this? This is pathetic. Anyway, it's got absolutely tiny roots. I'm going to put that there for now. That will stay there, but I just needed to get it out of the way so I can start to get to work on this bad boy. Because if you can't really see, I know you can't see, but underneath here, you can see all of the roots. And I'm going to try and... no, I can't. It will all tip out. But there's all the roots. So I'm going to try and get a lot of the soil out without damaging those underneath roots. And that's going to be quite difficult. So what I might try and do actually is mix it in the pot and not get out any of the soil. So I might just pour in pure perlite and mix it in. And what I'm going to do as well... no. Ignore me. Okay. This isn't for the top, this is to go in. So I'm just going to lift it up like this and just mix it in. And this will take a while, and it might disrupt these roots a little bit, but overall it will benefit the roots, because the roots will get better properties. Like, they'll be in a better situation in the long term. They won't be so bogged down, and they'll get all this air, and they'll be able to get nutrients more efficiently. But right now, they'll be like, get this fucking knife out of here. Which, I'm sorry, but it's like when you take a animal to the vets, and it's like, oh no, my animal is in pain, but they don't really know that you're just doing what's best for them, They just complain so much. There you go, I think I just ate a fly. Anyway, I'm going to pour some more perlite. Get that in your gob. I can actually do it by watching the side here. And I can see where and when the perlite goes down. It's pretty cool, actually. Now, I don't want to end up digging up or damaging any of these roots. So that's the very, very difficult part now. Now, I'm not going to be able to get this to a state in which it's got a lovely mixture of perlite throughout, but I am going to try, because there seems to be a bit too much over here, a bit too much perlite. So I'm going to try and put more soil over there and get more perlite over here. Right, I think, in my honest opinion, it's time for Mr. Ivy to go back in, and it's time to finish off with a big, nice layer of perlite on top, and it'll look like a Roman fixture. Let's get you back in there, Sonny Jim. And actually, let's make sure that this, in particular, has a lot of perlite, just because, why not, I'm kind of hoping that just my brute force of me fucking up their habitat will kick these flies out anyway. and then they'll be like, oh no, there's perlite, we can't live in that, it's not viable for our DNA. And they'll be like, ah, shit, oh well, and then they'll just go away. That'd be great. Oh no, there's one there. Right, anyway, now it's time for our unconditional top layer. This is going to be unforgiving. This is going to be passionate. This is going to revolutionize the plant economy. When you see this, this is going to be the new fad, I swear. In 5 years' time, everyone is going to be putting perlite on top of their plants because it will help beginners and it will look Roman. And I think Roman fashion is about to come back in, you know, like ancient Rome. That shit's in, like, you know how Stranger Things brought back the 80s? I'm going to bring back ancient Rome with all this. Plants in the Colosseum, you know? Plantseum. You heard it here first. Anyway, I'm going to fill this up as much as I can because I want it to be all covered completely, you know? I don't want to see any green or any brown on top. I'll tell you what, I don't see any flies anymore. I think I've covered them. I think I've just literally covered them in a landslide. And now they are stuck. Well, it's a sad day for them. Rip the flies. Lord of the Flies. Never read that. I'm not going to. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Bit of wood there. So I'm just honestly trying to get every square inch of this thing covered. This is absolute madness. This is like pandemonium. If any of you watching are into plants in the slightest, then you'll understand why this is like just so abstract and why I'm not like other girls. Because I wonder how many times in this video I've said the word perlite. Right, that looks pretty good, you know? These asparaguses have kind of grown in with the plant, like I said. Oh, is that a dead bit of... Yeah, dead bit. Look how tall they are if they didn't grow in the plant. Look at that. Madness. So what I'm going to probably do is just have them... Ooh, idea. I have a little stick somewhere. Here's my little stick. See, if I put that there... then maybe my asparagus, let's get this one out as well. He's all tangled up. Oh, he's grown a bit better. Let me refocus this camera. Now, as we approach the end of this, I've reframed the camera so it should be focused on here. And I'm going to attempt to twirl this around as such so it can pretend that it did all the climbing itself. And then I'm going to just stretch it up a little bit and I'm going to just put it through this little loop here. And just see what it does. Just see how it reacts over time. See? Just like that. And now I'll get the other one and I'll do the same. And I'll make my little asparagus towers. Maybe I'll loop him the other way. Just to make it a bit poetic, you know, like they're kissing. Or like they're married. Or maybe both. Maybe they're kissing and married. And I'm going to put him just in the other loop next to him. Next to the other one. And that can symbolize... Oh no, it broke off. Shit. Oh well, he just stays there. That's okay. That's kind of cool. That's really pretty. I like that. I fuck with that. That's beautiful. Anyway, that's a good note to end this on. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I am probably going to carry on, but it's honestly, I'm sure you guys can understand, it's a bit different doing this in person compared to doing it on camera, because I can, listen to music. I don't have to talk. But yeah, thank you for watching. And I'm going to be coming out with a wildlife documentary in the next year or so. That's going to be a big project. So if you want to help me with that, still looking for crew. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day, lovely rest of your evening. Have a lovely rest of your night. Thank you for watching. I do really, especially if you're still watching it now, because this is going to be a heavily uncut thing. And if you're still watching it now, that is genuinely fantastic. Don't mind me now, I'm just cleaning up my asparagus fern. Because, actually, let's check on those root systems. Sweet, they're still there. Healthy, didn't damage everything. Okay, good night.